Coming up on the Joe Rossano Show. When you accuse people publicly, reputations are damaged, families are dragged in, careers are affected, real human beings pay the price. And when the accusation turns out to be wrong, there's no apology tour. There's no algorithm pushing corrections. The damage sticks. That should bother all of us. Are you ready for facts? Unfiltered, unbiased, uncensored. The Joe Rossano Show is next. Welcome to the Joe Rossano Show. Hi, I am Joe Rossano. Let's rock. In my never-ending quest of debunking wild claims, not because questioning things is wrong, but because accusing people without proof is dangerous. Today, I want to take that one step further, because asking questions is fair, healthy even. But turning questions into accusations, that's where a lot of people go off the rails. Let's start with something simple. Curiosity sounds like this. That's strange. What happened here? Certainty sounds like this. I know exactly who did this. One is honest, the other is arrogant. And somehow in the social media age, we've decided certainty is more valuable than accuracy. If someone admits, I don't know yet, people think they're weak. They're not. They're responsible. Here's a pattern I see constantly. Something tragic or suspicious happens. Details are unclear. People are emotional. Then someone says, well, isn't that interesting? And from there, dots get connected that don't exist. Coincidences become motives, associations become guilt, and suddenly we're blaming families, coworkers, entire organizations with zero, and I repeat, zero direct evidence. That's not investigation. That's imagination. Here's another test I like to use. Ask yourself, if I, which I am not, but if I were a defense attorney, how fast would this fall apart? Because lawyers don't argue feelings. They argue facts. They ask, who said this? How do you know? Where's the documentation? Who corroborates this? If the answer is, well, a lot of people online think it, you're done. That's not evidence. That's a comment section. Let's lighten this for a second. If speculation were currency, Twitter, aka X, would be the world's reserve bank. Everyone's rich in theories. Nobody's rich in proof. And listen, I love a good mystery. Watch television all the time, mysteries everywhere. But mysteries are solved with evidence, not vibes and dramatic music. Here's the part that gets lost. When you accuse people publicly, reputations are damaged, families are dragged in, careers are affected, real human beings pay the price. And when the accusation turns out to be wrong, there's no apology tour. There's no algorithm pushing corrections. The damage sticks. That should bother all of us. Responsible skepticism says, let's wait for facts. Let's see what evidence emerges. Let's not ruin lives prematurely if we have no evidence. Irresponsible skepticism says, someone must be guilty. And silence means you're covering up. If you question this theory, you're in on it. That's not skepticism. That's paranoia wearing a microphone. So yes, ask questions. We have responsibility to do that. I want you to ask questions. Be skeptical. Demand accountability. But don't confuse suspicion with proof, because once accusations leave your mouth, you don't get to control where they land. Okay, folks, going to move into the segment where, and one of my favorite segments, by the way, I get to answer your questions right here on air. I read your comments. I get your instant messages. Thank you very much. Your emails, your text messages. I put them in the jar here. I shake them up. We don't play favoritism here. That's a fact. And I read them out loud and I answer them right here. reach into the jar here. Bear with me. First, this is from Barbara. Hey, Joe, do you think the truth will ever come out about Charlie Kirk? I don't know. I don't know. Now, if you think, and a lot of people, they compare the Charlie Kirk assassination with the JFK assassination. That's John F. Kennedy, 1963. Some argue the truth still isn't out. Some argue, hey, Tyler Robinson, he's Lee Harvey Oswald and vice versa. And I'm not sure. And it depends on what that truth is. I mean, some people think that there were many co-conspirators here, although there is no concrete evidence to support that allegation. The allegation is still out there. And as far as truth is concerned, if we don't have it already, unfortunately, I don't know. Now, the difference between 1963 and 2025 is now we have the internet and such, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. You see all the cameras that took the photographs, et cetera, of the late President Kennedy's assassination, whereas basically 35 millimeter film. Okay, now we have AI and all kinds of stuff. So sometimes Lord knows what you're looking at. But will the truth ever come out, Barbara? I sure hope so. And I want to be very clear. I'm asking the questions. I want the truth. That's why I do this show. I do this show for reasons like this. We deserve answers. Our government is by the people, for the people. And yeah, we deserve transparency. And I sure hope we get it. Thank you very much, Barbara. Very nice of you. I appreciate it. That was a good question. Let's reach on into the jar here and grab another one. Appreciate it, everybody. From George. Joe, do you take heat for what you say on your podcast? George, not yet. I mean, I imagine someday. I mean, every once in a while you get a comment, I don't like your hair, you talk funny, etc. So yeah, I mean that happens. I mean, does anybody come up to me and threaten me over my podcast here? No. The answer is no. And here is what I ask. And I really appreciate if everyone could just give me a moment of your time. Please come back. Please watch the Joe Rossano Show. Please subscribe to the Joe Rossano Show because I think we all, okay, Barbara, if you're listening too, George and Barbara and everyone watching, I think we all have this natural desire to hear the truth. And that's what I'm doing. That's why I don't come on here and say, he did this, she did this, they did this. They're hiding something from us. And if you don't say they're hiding something from us, you're in on it. You're part of the problem. You're a co-conspirator. You are involved in a coup d'etat. No. The only thing I want is the truth. Folks, I think, we've all been accused on some level of something we didn't do, taking a cookie out of the cookie jar, or maybe even something criminal. Quick story of my personal life. I took a photograph with several fellas. One of them was in the midst of a criminal investigation and ended up being convicted of that crime. And I'm in a picture with him. I hardly know the guy. I think I know his first name, but now it looks like, look, guilty by association. Joe Rossano must have been in on that. Not true. Not true at all. So what I do, and it has nothing to do with that, is I don't want to see people hurt. I don't want to hurt anyone until I have the facts, until I have the evidence, until I can go to court like the defense attorney thing and bring documents, witnesses, and corroboration. Otherwise, George and Barbara, I'm not going to report that here. So at this point, no, I've never taken any heat for my podcast. And what I hope is when the folks do see me, they say, hey, Joe, thanks a lot for being honest. We really appreciate it. Speaking of really appreciate it, I want to thank you so kindly for tuning into the Joe Rossano Show. There are thousands and thousands of podcasts you could be watching right now. And the fact that you tune in to the Joe Rossano Show from time to time, that does not go overlooked. Again, we all here at the Joe Rossano Show graciously appreciate it. As always, God bless you, my dearest friends and fellow Americans. Don't forget, adopt a pet. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell for all the latest episodes of The Joe Rossano Show.